after. Do it before.
Oh, don't do it. Be in the moment. Enjoy it.
Exactly. Or don't tell anyone because no one really cares.
In a world desperate to tear itself apart, only one man, and some other people, stand in the way of total destruction. Together they will right the wrongs, make bad, good, and single-handedly destroy evil, together. Who is this man, you may ask? This man is Geoff.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Geoff Jones and Friends Make It Better, the show that takes one of life's little annoyances, gives him a podcast, a microphone, and a guest, and the unwavering ego to believe that he can make everything better. Today, I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by comedian, promoter, and writer Jake Young. Jake, how you doing?
Hello, Jeff. Yeah, I'm good. Thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I am very well. I think that's the bit always throws people. It's like, how are you doing? But we've just been talking for the last last
Yeah,
10
yeah,
minutes.
you know very much.
But
And same, yeah.
I'd say, look, thank you so much for joining me. Tell people what's going on, mate, because you've got the night at the Alba or comedy at the Alva Bank, right, in
Mm,
Gosport,
yeah.
and that's you've had some names on that.
Yeah, I mean I have been running it for about 6 years now. And so I do want to caveat the big names to the fact that I'd regularly lose money, and it was it was not the amazing gig that it is that it thankfully has become. And also all of that is down to the wonderful people of Gosport who come out month in month out, and just support the night. But yeah, I mean we had Bill Bailey in September, we had Dylan
Amazing.
Moran in January, Rosie Jones. We've got Marcus Brigstock tomorrow. So yeah, it's really fun being able to get those kind of bigger acts down. But I mean, for me, the best bit is really being able to kind of sell the tickets with a big name,
Yeah,
but then being able to show my audience other comedians that they will have never heard of, just circuit comedians, upcoming new people, and just being able to watch them, blow
yeah,
the audience away and build a new following.
a really good mix. I mean, that's great because yeah, I suppose newer comedians or less established comedians
Mm,
do need to. It's just that little hook for people to come in and actually maybe take the night seriously or take the gig seriously, and it goes from being a bit of fun night out watching comedy to I'm going to see this guy. And then if you see these other acts as well and you
yeah,
find
yeah,
someone new, so a lot of them have been around a while. I mean, we've had a few of
yeah.
them on this show. Um, and it's just that the eyes that people need. So I mean, you're doing fantastic work and some
Ah,
massive names. And hey,
thank
hard
you.
work pays off.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's really fun to be able to provide that as well. And also for somewhere like Gosport where there isn't much on, there isn't much to do. And I
There's
think that
not.
that kind of helps the audience come and they bring their own level of energy really, because for a lot
Yeah,
of people that's their only night out that month. And so I just want to make sure they have as good a night as possible. And it's always a lot of fun. So yeah, yeah, thank you.
do fantastic work. So if people are interested, where can people find you?
So I am my own comedy. Jake Young comedy is on Facebook, Instagram as well, just strictly Jake. And comedy at the Alpha Bank is the same name on Facebook and Instagram. And we've got a show first Thursday of every month, pretty much. Sometimes we'll run more than one. We've got a comic relief show next week with Paul Sinner that's very exciting. So yeah, so just kind of give those pages a follow and stay up to date.
Fantastic. Well, all those pages will be in the bio of this episode, and anything that gets put out with as far as kind of links and promotion to it. I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
But now to the important bit, Jay.
Mm.
What is it that we are making better today?
Today we are talking about disruptive audience members at the cinema.
Yes. And this, as soon as you said it, so we've had quite a few movie kind of
Mm,
based episodes. Anything from Ben McLaughlin talking about Marvel to sequels with
yeah.
Michael Franklin and things like that. But this is one which I'm very excited about because I already have this hatred. So let's go.
Mm.
Okay, what is it that annoys you most?
Annoys me most. The audacity, Jeff. The audacity. The fact that, you where shall I start? I feel like You can already sense the annoyance in my voice.
Yeah, there's so many things. It's like, okay, what do I go for? No, 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 we'll save that
Where do
one.
I
No, we'll
start?
save.
Yeah. Okay. Well, currently, cinema is dying, as we know. Fewer and fewer people are going out to cinemas and watching films on the big screen,
Mm,
right? And the issue I have with that, is that obviously these films, the majority of them are made to be enjoyed on the big screen, and there's nothing quite like seeing a film with a packed cinema. And being able to kind of experience every emotion that the filmmaker has intended for you to experience
yeah.
in that kind of community feeling. And the audacity of the disruptive audience members when they talk, when they go on their phones, when they any level of kind of rudeness
Mm,
towards the film. I think, I mean, I live in London, and I mean, I know everywhere it's expensive to go to the cinema, but particularly some of the London screenings, I paid £20 a ticket before for
ooh,
a cinema screening. And so, a lot of people are paying money, whether it's £20, whether it's £5, you're all paying money to
yeah.
go and watch something. And what always gets me is the fact that the people who are disrupting you have also paid money to be there. That's the
Yeah.
most mind-boggling thing, is they have paid actual currency to sit there and talk or go on their phone or whatever it is and not care.
And
And
just
it's
not
like,
pay attention, yeah.
and I'm not one of those kind of big cinemas where you have to stay silent throughout the entire. Like, if you want to talk through a film, watch that film at home and talk through it, sure,
Yeah.
but don't ruin other people's enjoyment. I mean, we're both in comedy, and it's the same thing. You wouldn't go to a comedy show and talk or go on your phone. And obviously we have had many of those. I was telling you earlier about telling you earlier about the gig where I got heckled
You
by
may not. Everyone goes on the phone when I'm on, but yeah.
But I mean, like earlier, I was saying about how I got heckled by bagpipes that time, and I think I think that's it, is that you pay money to go to the cinema to watch that film on the big screen, and when people don't care about it and they talk, or they whisper and they think they're getting away with it, or I mean, I've got some stories, but nothing annoys me more.
Yes, and you know what there is. So what's really interesting. So
Mm.
there is two sides of this. So my first one is just people. So one is just etiquette, right?
Yeah,
And I think that comes from just complete lack of self-awareness, or maybe just brashness or rudeness, whatever it is. But first, first things first. You open, if you've got a packet to open, you open it before.
or yeah,
Well, you've got how many adverts are there? Not traders for me
free
are
reign.
like, wow, the adverts. Yes,
Uh,
traders are.
okay,
I'm a
all
big
right. We
trader.
slightly disagree.
That
Okay,
that's
yeah.
that's the start for me, because what there might be something. Don't get me wrong, there can be noise during that,
Okay, okay.
but that's when you start thinking, oh, hang on, okay, it's time
Let's
to just
quieten
settle
down a bit.
down.
Yeah.
But if you've got a bag of sweet, first of all, you never take a bag of sweets with individually wrapped sweets in,
Yes. Yeah,
because
absolutely.
right, you take
The
your
rudest thing.
that is the rudest thing.
The rudest thing.
Or really noisy pack, like a big bag of Doritos where you're just like
Yeah.
crunching
And
all the
and you just
time.
don't care. Well, I saw this is the worst probably cinematic experience I've had. So I go to the cinema like a lot. And I used to have Odeon Limitless. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You can go as
So
much as you want, pay
as much as you
monthly,
want.
and yeah.
Yeah, which is brilliant until you realize it's with Odeon. And now, like, there's a lot of Odeon cinemas that are lovely and great, but the Odeons I would go to, like Odeon Streatham, eh, less so. Like,
Yeah.
it's you can see as many films as you want, sure. But when me and my twin brother, we went to go see Smile, a horror film, came out a little while ago.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm not big into horror and all the rest of it, but I thought, I'll give it a go, and it's free essentially. I mean, I've paid the subscription. You just have to
Mhm.
see 3 or 4 films a month, and you've kind of paid for it,
Got your
right?
money back.
And we went to see Smile at the Odeon Streatham, and it's such a quiet, tense film. It's building up a lot, and constantly breaking that tension by rustling Doritos. And like, to the left of me, someone was making her own nachos from scratch. And then two people walked in late and were just drinking and talking. Yeah, it was like the Wild West, and you couldn't relax, you couldn't enjoy the film. And then a guy in the front just started shouting at them to be quiet, and then they were shouting at him, and then he left, and it was
Oh,
just carnage. And then Sam was like, "Should we just go?" And we felt like we could because we hadn't paid for a ticket. But normally, I mean, that's the one and only time I've ever walked out of a cinema.
yeah,
Normally I will, if I've paid for the ticket, I'm staying there. I'm not going to leave. And it just ruins, every level of that
it
experience.
does. I'm not gonna get segued because I have a lot of questions about making your own nachos from scratch, but I'm gonna resist the
Yeah.
temptation on what that actually looked like. But
Sorry, she didn't get out a blowtorch and start. It was just, it was more. I
hot
saw the
plate,
Doritos first, the cheese, and then
so they
some
bought their
salsas and
own cheese in and
yeah,
salsas.
yeah.
That's
I think it was
what?
pre-grated at least. I don't think they were grating it. But when you're so angry as well, you're kind of like, that's very inventive, but I haven't got time to
Yeah,
appreciate that right
that's.
now.
But just no, I'm not going. That I think you've seen it. That's yeah,
Yeah.
no, not
Well,
within the
speaking of things
setup.
you see in cinemas, my twin works at a cinema. I realized, can I say this? Can I use this? Okay, I won't say which cinema. That's
Yeah,
probably the legal way around this.
it's not
Um,
Odeon.
it's not Odeon. It's not Odeon. But they find all sorts of things, and most recently they found a pregnancy test.
Not in
Like
not in the
in the cinema.
screening.
Yeah, in the screen. After
No.
everyone had left, they found a pregnancy test, positive. Uh, and it had been left there just as a little mystery for the workers to work out.
That's been peed on for starters, so that's
Hmm.
delightful.
Yeah,
But
that's
hey, congratulations to them. I
I
hope it
wonder
was
what film it was as well. I feel like that might have had some bearing on it.
depending on the mood. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, oh well, I hope it was. I hope they wanted it. That's.
Yeah, me too. I
I hope
mean,
they're happy.
because you always leave a pregnancy stick in the cinema if you want to be pregnant. That's I don't know, but
You told me that you pulled out. No, right, okay. That's so yeah. So the two sides.
yes. Sorry.
Better.
Yeah.
No, don't
Go back.
apologize. This happens a hell of a lot. The two sides there, and then so it's conversation segue, and then I try and be really professional and try and bring it back, and
You're doing a great job.
it very
Yeah.
really works.
Like a
Thank you.
film, like a narrative of a
That's
film.
like
You bring
now,
it all back in. Um,
like like find the pregnancy test. We just need the sequel. Um,
yes.
but you have this though. So you've got people who are just they've got noisy foods,
Mm.
and you can't. But and you can hear them trying to be careful because they go really slowly. And at least that I'm like first,
Yeah.
like I get thank you for trying, but
Mm.
don't bring that in.
Don't bring that in. So
Right?
I think there's a caveat with popcorn because I think obviously popcorn
Yeah,
is a noisy thing to have, and but I will defend the right to have that in a cinema.
yeah,
But pick your moments. Don't have popcorn during a very quiet. Like I've brought popcorn before,
yeah.
watched the film, realized how quiet this film is, and gone, okay, I'll take a lot of
I'm
popcorn
chilling.
home today. But I saw Doom. I saw Doom 2, Doom 2 yesterday at the cinema, and had a load of popcorn and just waited for a big action bit, which came every few minutes,
Yeah.
and then I could just, happily eat without disturbing people. But it doesn't take much to do that.
I can go to the cinema with a room full of Jakes. I mean,
Mm,
that's perfect. That is
yeah,
perfect. If you've got anything, even if you need to go to the bathroom, to people go
yeah,
to the
pick your
bathroom,
moment.
you do the little hunchy bit.
Yeah,
Even though you're not in anyone's way, you want to at least show that you consider it,
absolutely.
and then but you wait for a bit where as I say you don't go in the last half an hour because
No,
that's rude.
no,
That's
no.
distracting. That's rude.
Yeah, and you're gonna miss things. You've got to enjoy it. So I watched Mission Impossible Fallout at the cinema probably about 8 years ago now when that came out. Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
It's a fantastic Tom Cruise action.
I'm not sure I've seen
Well,
Fallout.
I
Maybe.
mean it's the
What was
best
he
one.
hanging off? I know if I see it, depending on what he's hanging off.
Like a
Building,
yeah,
aeroplane.
like a mountain in this airplane as well. He's flying a
Yeah.
helicopter and all the rest of it. But it's a jam-packed action film, and I really needed a wee, and I had to wait for the sequence to be over where he's riding a motorbike, the Arc de Triomphe in Paris, and then at that exact moment where the sequence is over, ran to the loo, had the quickest wee of my life, came back. All my friends were like did you even go? You were gone for like 10 seconds. But I didn't want to miss a single moment. So yeah, I
Yeah,
think you've got to be invested and care. I think that's probably what annoys me most about disruptive audience members is they don't care about the film as much as I care about
yeah.
the film, even if it's a
And
bad film.
and this is the second part. And actually, so me, first of all, I'm very much in that first part. It's like
Mm,
consideration for others. But you, right at the beginning of this, you brought a really, really good point of this is not only have you spent money to go and watch it, but actually, people have created something
yeah.
and you are there to experience it and you want to experience it in, and if you go to the cinema, that is maybe like the perfect setting, isn't it, to watch films. Don't get me wrong, sometimes films can be hit or miss, but they're
Mm,
made generally for cinema.
yeah.
And that experience, that immersive, with the sound and everything. So
Yeah.
that's why you pay a bit more. That's why you're not waiting for it to come out on Amazon or Netflix or whatever,
Yeah.
because you want to be in that kind of immersive experience,
Completely.
because that's how the filmmaker wanted. And so this, I think this is actually, without getting too deep in kind of, I suppose,
Philosophical.
philosophical, psychological,
Yeah.
all of the
All
above.
the ologicals. Yeah.
It's coming from a creator. So yourself,
Mm,
who is kind of writer, screenwriter, comedian, you
hmm
create, you create content. So you know what it's like for someone to stand there and not pay attention or not to be as invested as you are. And actually, the
Yeah.
cinema is just a scale of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I hadn't quite thought of it in that way. Maybe that's why it annoys me so much because I kind of I value that. But then I also think back to when I didn't view myself as a creator, when I was a punter, I guess, going to the cinema all the time. It was such a key part of my life. I think, do you remember Orange Wednesdays?
Yeah, good old Orange
Yeah.
Wednesdays.
So I would regularly, kind of do that, and it was always, a very special treat. And so going to the cinema has always been this kind of, fun kind of like a special place really. It's not like something I would take for granted. And so
Yeah,
being able to go, and even though I go all the time now, it's still really, kind of special being able to go. And like you said, you have paid that money to go and see that film. So you do want to enjoy it more than if you were just at home. Don't get me wrong, some films you watch and they are terrible, and you just have to sit through them and suffer, and that's part of it. But I think there's a cinema in London called the Prince Charles Cinema, which have you heard of that one?
I've not.
It's a fantastic cinema in Leicester Square, and they show all of the old films. I say old, like films from a year ago to 60 years ago to 100 years ago. They show all these classics, cult classics, just anything really. I saw The Big Lebowski for the first time at the cinema on the big screen, and they gave out
Great
White
film.
Russians before, for money. They sold White Russians
Oh,
before
really?
the screening. Yeah, yeah. And so they do
Oh,
lots
I
of kind
love
of
that.
special events like that. I saw like a Terminator double bill there. The best one was Stop Making Sense, the John Demme concert video of Talking Heads, which
Mm,
they re-released recently. And I watched that at the Prince Charles, and this is a testament to how good the audiences are. After every song in this concert film, the audience in the cinema applauded like it was
yeah,
a real concert, and that's the thing about the cinema audiences, being able to watch old comedies for the first time on the big screen and laughing the whole way through it, in the way that it was kind of made for.
yeah. Oh,
That there's nothing like it. Yeah.
that's brilliant. And those are people who are looking for an experience, isn't it?
Mm.
Because again, there's people who should we go to the cinema? Yeah, which one go? Oh, we'll just kind of, this one sounds good. Oh, I've heard this is good, and that's fine. And you're going on
Yeah.
date night, or you're going with friend or whatever. You are going to do an activity.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
fine. Just be kind of courteous. As long as you're courteous to the people
Be
around you,
considerate.
yeah,
Yeah.
anyone
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
go to the cinema. We're not here, Jake, to tell people not to go to the cinema if they
No,
don't love cinema. But
exactly.
just be considerate, because there are people. So um myself and my wife, we got children scattered, all ages.
Mm.
But we've been uh, we've kind of been together pretty much since the start of the MCU. So kind of
Okay.
we
Okay.
probably got together just
You could
after,
track your marriage in Marvel films.
pretty much, yeah, just after Iron Man 1, and
Okay.
then children growing up,
Yeah.
and So to the extent it was certainly for kind of the end of phase one,
Hmm.
or phase three, sorry. Yeah, the Infinity Wars, etc.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, everything, and certainly before COVID, obviously, but everything that Marvel came out, it was right, guys. When are we going to go watch it? And
Right.
it was, yeah, the age group of the children, and it was a family outing. And we had
Yeah,
our popcorn. We had the kids knew how to behave. Don't get me wrong. When they were a bit younger, the toilet breaks were annoyingly regular.
true.
Uh,
They can't
but
control that, that's yeah.
that was kind of our thing. But yeah,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
do
yeah,
other
yeah.
days out, and you go for picnic. It's nice. Play football. Do all these stuff. It's nice. But
Yeah.
this was the not to miss.
Yeah.
And so, if people were being rude, if they're being noisy, being loud,
Yeah.
then even the kids get annoyed. And what's also hilarious is I'm really sorry, but I've kind of created this next or these generations of children now who, if they will not leave the cinema until all the credits are done.
Yes. Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Got to stay for the whole
because
thing.
but which is also great because then the people who work on it get their recognition.
Yeah, they get to
Uh,
be seen.
Right?
Absolutely. Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
they do. If people leave a Marvel film,
Yeah.
they scoff at them. That's
Yeah, no,
they're
I'm the
terrible.
same with my friends. I'm the same. We're like, well, you're
Why
gonna
are you
miss out some
leaving?
some great tiny little. It's like, and also what you're saying there, you've all paid like £50 at least to
Yeah,
all go to the cinema together, get snacks, enjoy the big screen experience. And if someone's talking, so I saw probably one of the last Marvel films I saw in the cinema, which I mean, I don't know what you'll think of it, but Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania,
yeah,
not great. However,
nah,
still, an etiquette in place, still got to respect the
yeah.
film. And so I'm watching it. And to be fair, I use my twins' cinema. You kind of get free tickets. There were no pregnancy tests near me in this one, but so I got in for free, and
You use your twin like is could you use it if you weren't twins or is it literally it's not
oh, it's
photo ID obviously, but
no, no, not quite. But having said that, I do keep going to the cinema, and people I think either don't know we're twins or they think I'm him. One time someone came up to me and he was there, he was working upstairs, and someone came up to me and I was downstairs and she said, I've spilt a lot of popcorn in the room. And I was like, oh, well, that's probably fine. We'll get someone in to clear it up. And she was like, no, no, it's a lot of popcorn. And she showed me pictures of all this popcorn that she'd spilt all over the floor. And I was like, oh, well, that's okay. Just, you head right back on in. And then I think she went upstairs, saw Sam, my twin, and clocked that I was an imposter and did not actually work there. And then she came back down and was like, I've got an actual staff member to sort it. But
oh man, that's brilliant.
but
Just fake it till you make it, Jake.
pretending,
That's
yeah,
it.
fake it till I make it, use those free tickets. But so yeah, I was watching Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and the talking to an extent is always annoying, but you always kind of think it's gonna die down at some point,
Yeah.
or someone will say something. Sometimes, I've been the one to say something. I'll kind of say shh, or like, but I think a lot of the time, they might talk about something that's happened in a scene and then they're quiet. Don't get me wrong, it annoys me, and if it doesn't stop, it really annoys me.
Yeah.
But I think arguably what's worse than talking is people checking their phones
Yeah.
because they don't stop, and it's the bright light that's
Hmm.
very distracting, and you can't really immerse yourself in what's going on. And I was watching Ant-Man, and someone on my left was checking their phone, and someone on my right was checking their phone. And I mimed to the person on my left. I was like, "Can you like stop?" And they always seem really shocked. They
Yeah.
always seem very like, what is it? How is it? What are you talking about? I'm
Yeah.
just looking at my phone. Like it's a perfectly normal thing to do. Sit in a pitch black room and check your phone, which probably doesn't even have signal.
It doesn't. And at the beginning of, I mean, depend on cinema, but I assume it's most cinemas. They have a
Mm,
big loud voice saying, "Put your phone away."
mm,
Like,
exactly, exactly. And I can, sometimes people are forgetful or whatever, and it might go off or something. You can turn off, but to check it is just the most disrespectful, the most
yeah.
annoying thing. You know, because you might be on your own. It annoys me. So I said to
No
that
one's
guy,
that important for 2 hours.
no, exactly. And also just for your own brain, switch off for 2. That's the beauty of watching a film is for
Yeah,
2 hours, you don't have to be
totally
in
agree.
the world of looking at your phone. And, it's all probably bad for us anyway. And in 50 years' time, we'll find out just how bad. But I think the cinema is a nice excuse to get away from the outside world, get away from all of your problems. I mean, I'll touch on that in a sec. But this guy, I mimed at him and he put his phone away. And then the guy on my right, I mimed at him because they weren't too far. And I think I just and he looked at me all surprised. I was like, "Can you put your phone away?" And then he, rather than put his phone away, I know this is a podcast, so I'll try and be visual with my describing. Um, he held up his coat like Batman holds up his cape, and just continued to check his phone with this cape blocking the light. And to be fair, it did eliminate the distraction. But
Apart
it
from now,
was
there's someone holding a coat.
well, yeah,
Like,
now I'm sat next to Count Dracula. That's pretty
that's it.
much.
You may be too young for this joke, but old Batfink.
Oh
My
yeah, yeah.
my
My wings are
wings
like
are
a
like
shield
a
of steel.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it
it. So
was
he's kind of
Batman.
doing
Yeah,
that, and he's just texting.
yeah.
Again, I'm now doing the thing for which is terrible for a podcast, and not doing a vision,
You can
but
picture it. If you guys at home picture Batfink, picture Batman.
and if not, Google
That's
it. That's
yeah, I'll Google it.
but
Yeah, that's the power. But not in a cinema. Don't Google it in a cinema.
Google it. Wait,
Mm,
because you're right. They won't have signal, right?
a
And
lot
this
of the
is
time, yeah.
what I don't. Okay, so yeah, some people do, but this is what really annoyed me is that I
Mm,
reckon 9 out of 10 of those people are checking in or whatever it is the term now,
yeah,
saying just about or just watching Oppenheimer
yeah,
at the cinema. Like, no, you're not. You're on
yeah,
your
yeah, yeah,
phone. Like,
yeah,
you're
yeah.
not
Just
watching
watching
it.
yourself type, I'm watching Oppenheimer is not
Yeah.
enough, you know.
Just to get some like do it after, do it before.
Do
Just
it
go
before,
into just been
or
to
don't do
watch.
it. Be in the moment. Enjoy it. You
Exactly.
don't
Or
have
don't tell
to.
anyone because no
Yeah,
one really cares.
exactly.
Apart from the
And
people that are in the cinema
yeah,
watching it.
they're the ones who care.
My God, it's almost
Oh,
like oh,
it's infuriating.
I hate it.
Yeah, and I don't know, and I think I don't know if it's my generation as well with all the phones just constantly being commonplace or just the rudeness of talk. I just don't know what it is, but I think people just feel like they can. So that's why I go to cinemas. Like in London, there's the Picture House chain, which is brilliant. I always have kind of nice audience members there who respect the film. Same with Prince Charles. They are just a lovely bunch of people who, I've rewatched Die Hard and everyone kind of cheers and says the catchphrase. And, it's kind of that's talking, but that's talking in a way that everyone is in on it and it's part of the
It's a
process of
celebration.
enjoying
It's
it. Yeah.
yeah.
It's not just being
Yeah,
a.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And I think that's it. Like, are you aware of The Room?
Mm.
That yeah.
Yeah, Tommy
So
Wiseau, he does a lot of Q&As at the Prince Charles. So he was there
yeah.
like
Oh,
last
does
weekend and
he?
stuff. Yeah,
Oh,
loads.
okay. I need to get on that then.
Honestly, yeah, do it.
Absolutely. I love that film so much. But I see at the films, everyone throws the
They throw the
spoons
spoons.
because
Yeah,
the
yeah.
pictures.
The picture.
I went to watch the oh my goodness, what's it called? The film that
Is it the shark one or the best
no
friends?
the film that James Franco did about the
Oh, the
making of
disaster artist. Yeah.
Disaster Artist. Thank you. So me, my son, and my brother-in-law went to watch that, and I think there was like 6 other people in the cinema.
Mm.
It was the best. It was
Mm.
the most
Because
empty,
everyone is there is as a fan, right?
right? And there's also a dozen seats around you that are empty. Like there's
Mm.
just there's like you, and then there's a pocket of two, and it's like, and it was great because it was so quiet, and you're just fully like the only way it would have been better is if it was a fully kind of everyone's in on the same joke, and you're all
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
I do love those. I mean, I uh, just bring it back to Marvel,
Mm.
watching. So we watched Endgame
Yeah.
as it kind of on pretty much opening
Did you do
night.
the midnight screening? Yeah, same.
It wasn't the midnight. It was
All right.
the next day, but like it was, and I've never been in cinema, and it's that cliche, and I always say
Oh,
how I have, but everyone clapped. Everyone was
yeah,
just
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that was
The
amazing.
the grabbing of the hammer
Yeah,
scene, everyone applauds that, all the
everyone
cameos.
was everyone there? You knew because it was like the first 24 hours,
Are,
everyone was there.
are
What
you allowed
didn't,
to? Oh yeah, go on.
I was gonna say, what did annoy, what was j-
Yeah.
some kid who'd obviously just seen it before us ran
Mm.
in and shouted the big spoiler of, I mean, I'm sure everyone's seen it now, but
No.
yeah. And it was quite early
Wow.
on in the film, so no one knew if it was like real or not. It
That's
it didn't ruin it, but that I
okay.
really hope, and
That's
I
awful.
am certain I don't say this lightly, but I really, really hope that kid got abducted
Yeah.
and is now been
I
been
that
sold as a slave.
Look,
I don't
Jeff, you're
care.
gonna have to get me on for another episode to talk about how much I hate people who spoil things. But that
Yeah,
is the most annoying that like I would
that's
be furious. And I've never thankfully had that. And one time I went to the toilet and a guy was in there with his daughter and she was saying, "Oh, it was really sad when Dory found her parents and just spoil finding Dory for me." But I was like, that's fair enough. Okay, I can have that
it's a
response.
kid. You're in the
It's a kid,
bathroom.
talk to a
Yeah.
parent. But to come into us, that's so I would be annoyed.
Yeah, so in Infinity War, where everyone sworn to secrecy, and literally
Mm.
you see you knew everyone who was had seen Infinity War because they were looking at the ground and
Yeah,
they were leaving. No one was saying anything,
no,
and you're
no,
going
no one
past
was
queues of
happy.
people.
Yeah,
But like you can't, I cannot tell anyone because everyone knows that it's going down, but I cannot tell anyone what's
you
going
can't
on. I
say
cannot
anything.
tell. And that's what I love. That's what it's about.
Yeah,
It's
and
and
and those
that comes with
community
fandoms as
experiences.
well.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
cinema brings that out.
And also I remember watching Endgame at the midnight screening, which is fun. It's also mad to think at 2 a.m. You're watching all these big moments happen and you're also feeling really tired. But there was a bit where when the Red Skull reappears.
Yeah.
So at that moment, my friend, it's quite a quiet scene. My friend was quite surprised by this. And I don't know if we're allowed to swear on this podcast, but he as soon as he saw the Red Skull, he just went, off. And because he was so surprised. And all these people kind of looked at him and laughed. And, it was a nice little moment. It
Yeah.
being a disruptive
Yeah.
audience member, but yeah.
When slightly similar, took my daughter, so well, she's now 20,
Mm.
she must have been about 10 years old, to watch the third Narnia film.
Oh, yeah.
And that no, a lot of people are it's probably the most forgettable of the ones, but of the trilogy. But there's
Voyage of the
this
Dawn Treader.
there's this moment where I know they're at I think it's like a metaphor for heaven or something, but there's basically this massive tidal wave, but it's
Mm.
static. And Aslan's all like, yeah, I'm going to go in here, or someone's about to go in the toilet. And I think it's like a passing over kind of thing.
Okay.
But we've just been through this whole epic film. This is in the last 15 minutes, and all of a sudden it pans around and there's this massive tidal wave. And my daughter's it's dead quiet because it's like
Yeah,
nothing,
yeah.
like there's no sound on screen, and it's this big moment. Like everyone's like, oh my God. And you're in the cinema, so it looks bigger as well. And it's like, and she's gone, no, you can't hear anything. And she's gone, you've got to be kidding me. And just a ripple of laughter
Oh, that's brilliant.
around.
Yeah.
Just and her eyes are wide open and she's experiencing it and she couldn't
Yeah, 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 yeah.
control
And you
herself.
you express yourself and say it out. Yeah. I mean, I know I completely get it. And that's the great thing about cinema, about being able to enjoy these films on the big screen, the way they're made. And I also think, people who do disrupt it do ruin it for other people.
Yeah,
Why would you go and see Killers of the Flower Moon on the big screen when you can wait a month, see it at home, and have no one talk through it while it's, being streamed? I
right.
understand the mindset.
And is that something though? Because there's a lot less time. So it used to be you see a film at a cinema and then
Yeah,
you had to wait kind of a year,
couple of
18 months
months.
before it
Yeah, yeah.
went onto television. Now you are looking, if it's Disney, it's on within a few months.
Two
If it's
months. Yeah, yeah.
Netflix, yeah, whoever pays the most for it, or even if it's Sky Cinema, whatever it is.
Mm.
So accessibility to films at the cinema is a lot shorter now than it used
Yeah,
to be. So is it people just taking that for granted? Like they're just like it is
I,
actually just
yeah.
oh, instead of watching a film at home,
Mm.
because a lot of times, well, a cinema release within a very quick amount of time, you can just pay 20 quid and watch it at home as
Oh,
much
oh,
as you
yeah,
like.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, but
So
the
has
etiquette's
the sanct
still.
has that sanctity of the cinema? Is it lost?
I don't know, but you could always, listen to an album at home and then go and see you wouldn't then go see the band and then talk through the band that you paid to go see, and I
No.
feel like it's mad to me that people would pay money to go and see a film
Yeah.
and talk through it when they could see it at home and talk through it there. But I think, yeah, I don't think it's lost. I think it's, places like the Prince Charles and generally good cinemas do kind of bring that out again. But I think I don't know. I think it's quite hard to yeah, to keep it going.
Yeah. And I mean, I think in a lot of places, the actual cinema
Mm,
experience, I think maybe that I think we've kind of focused on one small part of it, but I think maybe which is just people being rude in cinemas. But I think it's because for a lot of people, the value of going to the cinema, despite the fact they're paying money, I mean, you can go to the cinema or you can go,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, if you spend 20 quid to watch a film these days, that's like two and a half drinks. Like, yeah,
yeah,
it's at to equate. So you think, well, actually, I can go get popcorn and stuff, or I can go out and have a couple, well, a meal.
a meal
Yeah,
somewhere.
it's
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of that thing. So, but they treat it almost in the same social interaction as a meal because they're like got to whisper and talk and
yeah,
make their
yeah.
funny jokes and all this kind of business. So maybe it is something, but also, and I don't know, it sounds like the kind of cinemas you go to are a lot nicer. Well, apart from the Brings test,
Now they
but
are. Now
are a
they
lot
are because
nicer.
I've learned.
But we go to, there's a couple we go to just because of we're within the radius, which
Mm,
makes it easier.
yeah,
Um, and they're- and this is no disrespect, but it's generally students,
yeah, yeah.
and
It's younger people. It's
there's
my
not
generation.
enough of them.
Yeah.
They're very slow because they don't really care. Like they're
Mm,
just doing it as part time. There's no one. There doesn't seem to be any real training to get people. Hey, this is how we can go quicker, and you know what? There's no supervision. It's just people like just prodding, and you're like, I care about being here because I've got a start time.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
there's a load of people behind me. You can hear them muttering. Like it's a negative start to what should be a positive experience.
yeah,
So
yeah,
is it without again getting too much? But are we blaming these rude people, or is like I say, just in certain places, certain cinemas, just the value has been
yeah. I
is
think I
decreasing?
think
I don't know.
I think it must be the value. And also, I think if you look at, content nowadays, you can watch anything, any film almost on any
Yeah,
streaming application. Whereas even 10 years ago, you'd still be buying DVDs and Blu-rays and things like that. And
yeah,
so,
I love
it
a
wasn't
DVD.
as accessible. And so maybe there's that element where people go to the cinema, but they don't care as much. And you know what, if they are going to watch it again in 2 months' time on Disney Plus, then it doesn't matter that they missed this
Yeah,
bit because they're cracking a joke with their friend. Maybe that's an element. I don't know, but I
because
just
it's
think
so
it's
readily available. I think. Well,
yeah.
I think there's something there because it's the true cinema fan,
Mm.
cinephile, which
Cinephile.
I still feel uncomfortable saying.
Yeah, yeah,
I think it is, it's a church experience, is that
yeah.
without
That's
taking
why we
back,
all
I'm
go.
not saying it's equivalent, but false prophets, etc. But what I'm saying is there's people who go there for the experience and go
Mm.
to forget about everything
Yeah,
and to be fully in the moment. And there's people
yeah,
that's not out, and that's fine.
yeah.
But do you know what I'm not gonna do is offer suggestions because what I am gonna say is how do we make it better? See, this is the
How do we
bit.
make it
See how
better?
I've done that, right?
Oh, yeah, that's good.
So we've had a
Yeah.
good old moan about them, and to be fair, we could probably talk for
Yeah, oh, yeah,
another couple
yeah,
of hours.
yeah.
But let's do it. So
Okay.
we've got anything from as little as opening your sweets beforehand
Yep.
to completely changing the whole dynamic of cinema
Okay.
and streaming services. We've got to find some kind of happy medium. Do you
Okay.
have any solutions,
I
or
have an interesting
What would
one.
you like to see? Yeah, go on. Then.
Okay. If there was enough money in cinemas and if cinemas weren't on the edge, of going under and things like that, but they have been for so long, I think collecting phones before you go in. You have a little phone locker, you put your phone in there because why
Yeah,
would you need it for that 2 hours? You won't. And if it's off anyway, if you were getting an emergency call, you wouldn't know anyway. So just put it in a little thing.
Yeah.
and you get it back in 2.5 hours, and you've fully immersed yourself in that world. And also, it might be quite freeing to not have the phone on you at all, and to have that temptation
Yeah.
literally taken away from you. But all that would do is put off people from coming to the cinema, and young people especially, where they need the money. So
But yeah, I mean, but that does show the people who aren't really serious about going. But
yeah,
then
yeah,
people
yeah,
do have this unnatural, yeah, my kids can't show me anything on their phone without holding it. And I was like,
yeah.
why not? What do you think I'm going to do with the phone that I pay for? But
Yeah. Yeah,
and that's the whole, I suppose, another conversation is just how
how they
attached
are with
people are.
phones. But
Um,
yeah, I think that would help. I think that would, lead to people
it,
coming, and you don't then have to worry. You don't have to sit down during a film and worry that people are going to check their phones and
yeah,
take you out that moment.
you can check in and say, I'm in the cinema now. So everyone knows for the next 2.5 hours, you are non-communicado. Like
That's
it's
it. Yeah,
just,
yeah, yeah.
um,
And if you do feel the temptation to talk, if everyone in the cinema had like, you've seen the Austin Powers film,
yeah,
or the films where they've got the long table and they just push a button
yeah.
and the chair opens up and they go down a chute. I think everyone in the cinema should have that power. And so if someone starts talking front row, 2 seats away from you, just push your button and then
And they're
they
gone.
disappear and they're gone.
I love the two ends of the spectrum. You've gone from let's just kindly put everyone's phone in
Yeah,
their
yeah,
own
yeah, yeah.
locker, be
But
fully
talking.
immersive, to sharks with laser beams,
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
hidden chair hole in the chair, which I'm all for that.
Thank you.
I'm all for that. I mean, I think people should be allowed a chance. So what
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
would like to see is a legally binding document
Okay.
where people, yeah, it's just the common courtesy rules, right? You've just
Yeah.
got, like, if you have noisy suites, make sure they are prepared before the
Before.
film
Yeah.
shot starts.
Yeah.
um the upcoming attractions is like your final,
Final
that's
warning.
the,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that's the 10-minute free view, that is.
Yeah.
Then obviously talking. So they,
Mm.
like, there's no talking unless it is I'm going for a pee, really
Yeah.
quiet. Um,
Be considerate.
there's nothing else really, that needs to be said.
No.
Obviously the customary duck when you're leaving this to go for a pee, even if you're,
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You
By
wait for
all
that
means,
happen.
I'm quite happy for people falling up or down the stairs in the cinema, because that's a big. I've seen that a couple of times. It's a big
Always
moment for
funny.
me. It's always funny, and everyone's allowed to
Always
laugh
funny.
at that. Like
Yeah.
you leave yourself open, but
Yeah.
just like this, a good set of rules. They could,
Yeah.
it's a case of, right. Well, especially when it comes to mobile phones. So look, if you put it in here in
Yeah.
a separate case, if you choose not to, because it'd be difficult to
People
enforce.
have choice. Yeah.
If we see that blue light,
Yeah.
punishment,
Yeah.
and
We
it's
push the button and the chair opens
the
up and you go down a
button,
chute.
you're
That's
out.
part of it as well. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe this
They could
little
have that in
mic,
the projection booth and they could just use it
because they
whenever they
could see
see.
it, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. In the same way that they come out if people are recording the film, they have like
Yeah.
technology where they can see that and they come and like remove people.
Yeah, so
I've seen
they've
that
got the
before.
technology to do it.
Yeah,
That you can
yeah.
have little microphones around, and if the decibels of someone talking goes
Yes.
too high, instant automatic gone.
Although how would you track that with, I mean, Dune 2 was pretty loud last night and I don't know. I mean,
I'm an ideas guy, Jake.
yeah, that's true. That's true. We don't
I
need to
don't.
actually figure out
We
how to
don't
do it.
need to. These cinema companies can do that.
Can do that. What
Same
if
as, yeah,
on every cinema ticket it just said don't be a dick? Like when you buy the
I
ticket and it
know.
says, well, enjoy the film, blah, 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 don't be a
Don't be
dick.
a dick.
Yeah. Because we all know what that
I
means.
think. Yeah.
I like to think we all know what that means.
Yeah.
Don't
I
be a dick.
mean, that's probably the most. That could just be the most effective, because,
Mm,
yeah, that's the starting point.
that's the starting point. I think that's the name of the cinema chain that you and I are going to open.
You've literally just read my mind.
Yeah,
Don't be
let's
a
do
dick
it.
cinema,
Don't
right?
be a dick
And
cinema.
people
Everyone
come
comes
in.
along. Yeah.
It's a fully immersive experience.
Hmm.
There's people, yeah, the counter staff are they're getting paid enough to want to do well at their job,
Yeah.
to work hard,
We've got
have a great
themed drinks and
experience,
things made for the film,
themed
White
drinks,
Russians for Big
popcorn for
Lebowski,
days. No salted
popcorn.
popcorn. Does anyone actually eat
No,
salted popcorn? It just seems to be a
I have a
time.
mix. I regularly
Oh,
have a mix.
really? You're a
Yeah,
mixer.
mix is pretty good.
Oh,
Also nachos that are pre-made. I think that would help. Yeah,
I
don't be a
just
dick.
remade.
Anyone who's named Richard gets a half price ticket.
Oh,
Things like that. We could have some fun with that. I think it would work.
two for one Dick Wednesdays.
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
Bring back Orange Wednesdays, but
two,
just make them Dick Wednesdays.
two Dick Wednesdays.
Two Dick
Um,
Wednesdays. That does sound like something else.
which we mean Richard, because I do
mm,
bleep out swearing,
mm.
but I'm caveating this by Richard because otherwise the joke's lost if we bleep
Yeah,
out the
yeah.
word.
I think we've got to know this
So Dick
OSC.
is short for Richard.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're using it
Somehow
for.
we don't really know.
No, we don't. We don't
I
know how
don't.
that.
I have no idea how
Dick
that works.
Whittington, the pants. I don't know if that's
I
the name. I
suppose
don't,
Richard Whittington's not quite as sexy as Dick Whittington, is it?
no, no, it's
Is Dick
true.
Whittington a sexy story? I don't know. Has he got? Is that the
Cat,
one with the boots?
there
Has
are
he got the
boots in
boot?
it.
I
He's
don't
got the
know.
bindle, doesn't he? He's got
He's
the
got what?
sexy the bindle. The stick with all his possessions wrapped up in
Oh,
like a
okay.
handkerchief thing.
That's him? Is it? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, stick
Um,
Whittington. But anyway, he gets in for free.
he gets it for
And
free.
yeah, I think
Richard Madeley, he gets in for free.
yeah, Richard Branson though we would charge quite a lot.
I feel like,
Um,
yeah,
put the prices up
he
for
may,
him.
he may be an investor.
Maybe,
Okay, so
maybe.
essentially the way we've made this better is by starting our own cinema.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, yeah.
That's it.
No dicks
Um,
allowed. Don't
no,
be a
two
dick.
dicks allowed.
2 D. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Only
Oh,
on
hang
Dick
on.
Wednesday.
No. Oh, yeah, we've kind of gone about
What if we
this
no no, what if
the
we had
wrong.
a purge night then on a Wednesday? Everyone can come to the cinema, do whatever they want.
Ah, that's good.
And there was one of these recently to me. It was they screened Hot Fuzz and it was a men's mental health event where specifically men were kind of encouraged to go and talk during the film. It sounded like my worst nightmare because Hot Fuzz is my
Yeah.
favorite film and I would love to watch it on the big screen. But to watch it where people are talking, awful. But if that's how the night has been marketed, you can't then go to that and be annoyed that people are talking.
Yeah. I mean, definitely do
So,
it against, I know, the Expendables or the Expendables
mhm.
for Fast and Furious
Yeah,
37. Do it again.
yeah.
Do it in that,
Do it
do it in
against,
Hot
yeah, yeah.
Fuzz.
No,
But
no, yeah.
I
Don't waste Hot
love
Fuzz on
that
that.
idea.
Yeah, so if we did that as
Absolutely.
like a purge, people could get it out of their system if they had to talk, if they had to check
Yeah.
their phones,
And
and then
you put on
like a B
Larmageddon,
list. Yeah.
and so not even B, I'm going way down.
Okay.
Larmageddon, which actually has one of the, and I encourage anyone to just go onto YouTube. It's got one of the best soundtracks or songs,
Armageddon.
outro songs you'll ever hear.
Yeah. You do want
So
to miss a thing. Is that what it's
it's there's a Larmageddon. I won't do it. Google it.
Okay, okay, okay.
Okay, right. So we need to start pushing around how we're going to create a cinema. I don't really know, but I'm sure.
I'll talk to my twin. He
You,
might have some
you
connections.
could-
Yeah.
yeah. If not, you could pretend to be him and pretend to have connections.
I could also do that. Yeah.
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 Yeah, I'll call someone. This is what you're doing. You're like, yeah, I'll call someone.
I'll call,
And
yeah, yeah, I'll make
yeah.
it happen. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Pregnancy tests freely available in the bathrooms at the cinema,
and maybe condoms as well for those
And yeah, yeah.
who don't want to go from A to Z.
No.
They just get the A and to D. No, okay, it's descending into chaos now. Jake, no, thank you so much for joining. It's really nice to speak to people who have just this kind of thought, this kind of hatred for people who
Yeah,
just have called, maybe their name's Richard, and they go to the cinema and
and disrupt it for all.
just be disruptive. We don't.
Yeah.
There's no need.
No need. No
There's
need.
no
Be
need.
disruptive in your own home.
There's
Don't
no
pay to be
need.
disruptive to other people.
But
Thank you very
no,
much for having me, Jeff. It's been a
no,
lot of fun.
it's been my absolute pleasure. And everyone, check out Comedy at the Hour Bank. Keep
Yeah.
an eye on Jake Young because he is a young gentleman who's certainly going places. Um, Follow the Geoff Jones and Friends Make a Better podcast on any of the, I suppose, major podcasting places. There's also I know YouTube, which has mainly stuff to do with my dog. Same as Instagram is like I try and link it in, like, hey, the dog and the podcast, but people constantly say
Really?
to me, we just care about the dog. But that's Better with Geoff on Instagram and stuff like that. So apparently I've got to kind of do that, or people won't know where to find me because I'm really bad at it.
Gotta plug it. Yeah,
But until next time, thank you so much everyone for listening. And all there is to say is goodbye from me, and it's goodbye from Jake. Say goodbye, Jake.
from me. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you for
You
having
jumped
me.
the gun on that. I was like, say
Sorry.
goodbye. You're like, goodbye.
Goodbye.
I've got to go. I'm off.
We'll do it again. We can re-record. Yeah, do it again.
Well, no, what we'll do is going to say it again, but I won't edit it. So
Okay.
all of this content's going to be in it.
Oh, great.
It's goodbye from me, and it's goodbye from Jake.
Goodbye.
Oh, hang on.
What was that?
The first time I said say goodbye, it doesn't matter. You've said goodbye.
Too much of a delay.
That's
It's the White Russian, honestly. It's gone straight
it's
to my
the
head.
White Russian. Okay, until next time, everyone. Thank you very much. Goodbye.